Good? Good to go anytime?
Camera roll.
Hey everyone, I'm Gavin Winter, Senior Systems Designer on the Overwatch team. We're back with another developer update to talk to you a little bit about some of the upcoming competitive changes. My teammate, Senior Research Scientist Natasha Miller, will tell us about updates to Defense Matrix a little later. A few weeks ago, we heard from Aaron that heroes are coming out of the Battle Pass and they'll be available for free the day they launch. He also talked about the new Mythic Shop as well as the upcoming Clash playtest. He closed with a little sneak peek at what we're covering in this developer update. Season 10 is just around the corner, and we're excited to share these changes with you, starting with how we're updating the way you can play with friends this season. So let's talk about exactly how that'll work. We think Overwatch is at its best when you're playing with friends. So our new system in Season 10 lets any rank group with any other rank. That means, for example, if you're Plat and you've never been able to group with your friend in Bronze, you will be able to do that now. We'd refer to your group as a wide group because you and your friend are pretty far apart. There are some trade-offs for wide groups though. They only play against other wide groups, the queue times could be longer, and the matches will be sillier. We'll still use our role delta tech to try to match you against similarly shaped groups. So if you're a Plat tank and your friend is a Bronze support, we'll try to find another Plat tank and Bronze support to match you two against. At the end of a wide match, you'll see a new modifier just for this system. Avoiding boosting is really important to us. So the wider your group is, the less your rank will change after any match. If you're Bronze and you're grouped with a champion player, you can expect almost no change to your rank, regardless of the outcome. We expect all this to be a huge match quality win for our solo players, because they'll never play against wide groups. We think of groups that are close in rank as narrow. So narrow matches will only be solos and narrow groups. All this means that you'll be able to choose whether you want to prioritize the highest match quality or playing with friends. We're also expecting to see fewer Smurfs after these changes too, since we know some players were only creating alt accounts to play competitive with their friends. We've heard your requests for more Void slots, but having more than 3 in our current system breaks matchmaking for high-skilled players. We realize that basing our Void count on that restriction hamstrings the system for 99% of players though. So to add all the new features we're about to discuss, we had to rethink what it means to avoid players from the ground up. First off, we're increasing the number of avoid slots to 10. We're also going to let you pin some avoided players so that they never fall off your list. The trade-off we make to get these features is related to our next new feature. You'll now be able to prioritize your avoid list, where players at the top are most likely to be avoided. For players below Grandmaster, that's most of us, you can expect all 10 avoid slots to be reliable, but we still want to give you the tools to organize your list by how much you dislike the players on it. For our highest skill players, this feature is particularly important because if we can't find a balanced match, we'll start ignoring players at the bottom of the list in order as queue time increases. Another area we're addressing will bring changes to our lever penalties for unranked and competitive play. Right now, on the unranked side, our penalties kick in when you leave 4 out of your last 20 games and get worse when you leave 6 out of 20. We aren't changing those, but we are adding a more lenient 5-minute penalty if you've left 2 out of 20, and a much more harsh 48-hour penalty if you've left 10 out of your last 20 games. Now, there aren't a lot of players leaving more than 50% of their matches, but they do exist, and we think the game would be better without them most of the time. On the competitive side, we're closing another edge case by suspending any players that leave more than 10 matches a season. We're also going to start counting matches completed in competitive toward the 20-game window for unranked. Finally, I want to talk to you about our improved anonymity features. We already had a streamer mode, but we're making this feature more useful to all players, not just streamers. Right now, this feature is client-side only, which means it only changes how players' names appear on your screen. The big change we're making is adding server-side functionality, which means we'll change how your name appears on everyone's screens in your match. We think this is great for players who may experience harassment because of their battle tag and just want to queue up without any chance of that happening. Don't forget to report players that harass you or anyone else though. And speaking of reporting, don't worry, players in streamer mode being disruptive in text chat or voice can still be reported, avoided, and blocked, and penalties will still apply to them in exactly the same way as normal, because we still know their name behind the scenes. Next, Natasha will talk to you about our main initiatives to combat disruptive behavior.
Thank you, Gavin. Hiya, I'm Natasha Miller, a senior research scientist at Blizzard working on Defense Matrix for Overwatch. While we are always working in many areas of combating disruptive behavior, today I want to talk about Disruptive Chat. I'll also touch on some of the tools that we're improving to help keep the community safe. Disruptive chat can really negatively affect someone's experience in-game. In our focus to curb this disruptive behavior, we are taking a multi-pronged approach that will roll out over several seasons. Today, I'll discuss the first 2 coming out in the next few seasons. In our first approach, we will prevent players at endorsement level 0 from using text or voice chat. To be clear, the only way to get to endorsement level 0 is by having your account actioned for an in-game infraction. Even brand new players start at endorsement level 1. So these are players that have proven themselves to be bad actors, so much so in the past that they received a penalty. This feature would allow those players to take a forced break in team and match channels until they work their way back up to endorsement level 1. And from there, in all higher levels, chat would work as it did before. Remember, the best way to work your way back up to endorsement level 1 is to demonstrate good teamwork by trying your best, helping your team, and using the in-game ping system. In our second approach, we will remove chat functionality for spectators. Spectators don't have an in-game need to use the chat channels, and by removing their ability to chat, we remove a channel that is increasingly being used by bad actors. Along with these improvements, we are looking at making it easier and faster to report any reportable offense mid-match. At the moment, our numbers indicate that most reporting is done towards the end or post-match. And one reason for this is that it's not quick to report mid-match. However, this could put pressure on players to remember that they need to report, who to report, and what to report them for, all after the match. And at that point, they are likely more interested in just starting the next match. So we are hoping that by making it faster to report mid-match, more players will use the reporting system. This is very important because we rely on players to help us know what is happening in matches so that our mitigation systems can be more effective and reliable, overall making Overwatch a safer community for everyone. Player feedback is a vital part of improving and optimizing these types of features. So we want to create even more avenues for you to share your thoughts with us. In Season 11, we're introducing the first iteration of player surveys into Overwatch 2. This won't happen after every game because survey participants will be chosen at random among the player base. The survey will be prompted after the progression screen at the end of match flow. This means that you'll be able to watch the play of the game, give endorsements, and review progression without getting interrupted. Once the progression screen is closed, the survey will prompt the player for their feedback. Both console and PC players will get the option to give us feedback via a QR code. PC players may also choose to open the link in a separate browser. Surveys will ask questions about the game, including new modes, events, features, and how you feel about the way we're mitigating disruptive play. We're excited for this feature, and we look forward to continuing to improve the game as we gather your feedback. These are just a few of the things we have been working on in this space. We will continue to bring you updates on our progress mitigating disruptive behavior via the Defense Matrix blogs, which will get a refresh in the coming seasons to include even more on the impact this work is having in the community through transparency metrics. Defense Matrix and Competitive will always be core to Overwatch, and we'll continue iterating, improving, and of course listening closely to your feedback on these systems. So please keep sharing your thoughts with us, and we can't wait to show you what we've been working on in Season 10 and beyond. See you soon!
Natasha said you will not be getting an outtake out of me today.
Well, that clip just came off. Any reportable offense.
And they get worse.
And reliable.
You got so close to the end.
All right, he's coming back for another pass.
Circling.
It's turning around.